Like it's not stressful enough to find your seat. You settle in, then the disruption begins. Worst scenario? You have to deplane because some Ken or Karen is acting up. Since COVID began, unruly airline passengers have been making air travel a mess. That's coming up. Welcome in on a Stay Hydrated Tuesday. There's been a situation going on in Palm Springs surrounding the Human Rights Commission. After 30 years, there's upheaval, and the role of the commission is what's in question. Rather than putting the commission on indefinite hiatus, as initially proposed, City Council opted to continue meeting, but with a sole focus on redesigning its purpose. It all started behind closed doors when the commission decided to rescind a community service award, a possible violation of state open public meeting rules. Our contributors tonight are Stephanie Miner, CEO of Success for Nonprofits, and Jimmy Fitz, host of the Crypto Fitz Show. Steph, is that this big of a deal?
Well, I think that if you are supposed to be following the Brown Act, you need to be following the Brown Act. And I do think that transparency is a big deal, and that this commission needs to try to get back to being in a good spot and being more transparent.
Jimmy, what do you think?
Well, after 30 years, I think it's, the world changes, and it's good for them to reevaluate exactly what their mission is, because it seems like they don't know what their mission is or what their purpose is, and that needs to be redefined.
All right, should the commission be put on hiatus while others figure out their mission, or should they try to decide that themselves, Jimmy?
I think it should be a collaborative decision. I think it should be both of the above, Fred.
Stephanie?
I agree. I absolutely agree.
All right. Part of the Section 14 counteroffer includes 2 seats on the commission. Should people be involved, the people, in figuring out the commission's mission if they get that deal pushed through, Stephanie?
Yes, absolutely. Why would they not be? It doesn't make sense for them not to be involved.
Jimmy?
Sounds like many town halls bringing everyone together. We're adding more parties to the stakeholder corner. So communication, and everyone has a lot to on their mind. It's a 30-year reimagining of this commission. And once again, everyone's going to have a clear directive after they all get on the same page.
All right, you know what? Let me ask you this. You got so many people talking about this. We'll include these people. No, we'll have a meeting with those people. All right, now let's invite them in to talk about it. How does anything ever get done?
No, you're right. I mean, too many chefs in the kitchen. We know what that's like. I know. It's you need the communication, though, unfortunately, but there doesn't seem to be a real captain of the ship. I think it sounds like the city council is trying to get this pointed in the right direction and get it top of mind and have people discuss it. And then I guess it's going to take its own form and see where it goes.
All right, we're all dealing with this. You know what that is? The heat. It's part of our way of life for at least 3 months every year. Between 2013 and 2022, extreme heat events took the lives of several hundred Californians. Many more lives than the state's deadliest wildfires. The events also had a total economic impact of $7.7 billion. Stephanie, should insurance company provide coverage for extreme heat issues? Go to the hospital, lost wages, power outages, damages. What do you think?
I mean, I think it sounds good in theory. How much money it will cost, I'm not sure. But as you just mentioned, there are catastrophic things that happen with extreme heat. And so any way that we can help each other out with that, maybe through insurance, I think it's worthwhile in taking a look at that.
Jimmy?
The insurance business is really on a delicate deal right now. A lot of insurers are pulling out of the state of California because of the wildfire exposure. And we talk about all these hottest trends and the hottest 10 days in the last 10 years and all that stuff, but this is another natural evolution. That's what happens. And if you go back to Death Valley National Park, July 10, 1913, the hottest day in the state of California on record, it was 134 degrees, 1913.
What would you say to people who then say, suck it up? It's hot, but you chose to live here, Jimmy.
I totally agree. Suck it up. You're here because you want to be. I'm here because I love it. I love the heat. Bring it on, baby.
Stephanie?
I don't love saying suck it up. Some people may not want to be here, but they don't have the finances to get out. So I'm not in favor of saying suck it up. However, we do choose to be here most of us do. So I don't love suck it up. I don't think that's good.
All right, state's Occupational Safety and Health Standards Board recently approved a rule requiring employers to reduce the risk of extreme heat for warehouse, restaurant, and other workers. Shouldn't that be the case for all workers, Stephanie?
I think so. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think that it's important that we maybe start with that, but absolutely all workers need to be protected and safe and in a colder environment so they don't get sick.
Jimmy.
It's education to me, once again, teaching people how not to go in the sun at certain hours. How many times do you hear about our emergency responders going up in the canyons in the summer when it's 115 degrees to take people down to safety because they've gotten heat exhaustion, etc. Restaurants, I mean, my gosh, you better have it environmentally cool in there. Otherwise, you have no customers, so your workers are protected. There are a lot of laws already on the books to really protect workers, their environment, etc.
All right, as we move through the week, always remember this. Every day is the best day to be a good neighbor. Navia in Palm Desert looking for some babysitting gigs. Anybody looking for some childcare? Lucy wants to know if there are any senior discount days at the movies. Who knows what day seniors can see Ryan Reynolds on the cheap. Leslie in Thousand Palms has a bee issue. She's got a hive under her home and she needs some recommendations on who can remove them. Brenda in Indian Wells is looking to do some boot, scoot, and boogie. Are there any line dancing establishments nearby? And Anne would like to find a collector of the artwork of Thomas Przynski. Anybody out there? Viewer Keith, not too pleased with our contributors last night. We did a segment on a new excise tax that California has put in place for guns and ammunition. Take a look. Firearms Policy Coalition president said the gun tax is a modern Jim Crow law that targets people and rights hated by tyrants like Governor Gavin Newsom. Doug, what do you think?
I think he's right. I'm not a gun owner. My wife used to be. And I don't know why we need the guns that we have, but still it seems patently unfair to charge an arbitrary 11% excise tax on top of all the other taxes.
Yes, I was a registered gun owner, responsible one, and this would make me mad. The 11% just on top of everything to what? You're going to try to fix gang violence, gun control? Come on, who are you fooling? No.
Okay, here's what Keith had to say. Having two pro-gun, anti-tax advocates does not represent both sides. I think the extra tax in order to dissuade the arsenal of guns in the state is wise. Nothing in the Second Amendment states that gun ownership should be cheap. From the See It, Shoot It, Send It department tonight. All right, that stray pup found in La Quinta behind Adams Park. He's got no chip. Anybody know whose good old boy this is?
Can we agree to disagree? Can we agree you'll tell us what you think? Find Fred on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fred Roggin. You can also email thedesertdean@gmail.com.
But the check's good, I promise. Now, we have talked about cashless business. Not everybody likes it, but it seems to be what the future holds. The question, how far is that trend going to go? Target will still take your money, but not your check. No more checks at Target. It's another form of legal tender a major retailer has decided to no longer accept. So where is all this headed? Is debit card or credit the only way that we'll be able to pay for anything? Should businesses be able to deny the use of legal tender? Jimmy.
Well, my understanding of legal tender is the dollar, the greenback, the different presidents on the face of it. The check is a promise and an admittance that I owe whoever this, and that my bank is going to clear that check, and that your bank's going to clear that check, and that eventually my money ends up in your account.
Stephanie.
If they don't want to take checks, I just don't think that they have to. It's up to them, and we can always use cash.
Okay. But some places are saying we're going to be cashless. So what happens to those people who don't or can't use credit cards, Stephanie?
Well, I guess you'll have to go get a prepaid Visa or something like that. I mean, you're just going to have to figure it out. If people don't want to take checks, they don't have to take checks. And so if you want something from the store or restaurant, you're going to have to use the tender that they want you to use.
Jimmy, what do you think about that?
The world we're going into is all going to be on the cell phone. Your whole banking, your whole life is already on the cell phone. But now finance and everything else is going to enter into that. And remember the first time you went to Starbucks and you saw someone with their cell phone paying with their phone in Starbucks?
Yep.
That's the future of everywhere. And all these establishments are already working the back office and installing the hardware to be able to do this. So no change, no checks, and soon no cash.
You know what I always think about, just given what you said? My God, what if you lose your phone? Your whole life is your phone. What happens to you, right? You operate everything from your phone. I can't remember where I put my phone. I lost it. Now what do you do, Jimmy?
No, that's the world we're living in, huh?
Tell you. All right. People here complain about traffic. But if we're being completely honest, traffic problems here are nothing like they are in a big city. California is a giant state with a lot of roads, and 5 of the deadliest roads are in Southern California. One that concerns me the most, the 10 in Riverside County, our artery between the Coachella Valley and Los Angeles. Apparently that artery is in need of a bypass. So maybe what you do is you take the 15 in San Bernardino for a stretch, but guess what? That's on the list. If you want to make it to the 5 in Orange County, you'll be fine, right? No, wrong. The 5 in San Diego and Orange County is also on the list. All right, just relax. You hit the 101 and you visit lovely Santa Barbara. No, you guessed it. That's the last freeway on the list. The Coachella Valley is a desert oasis. Looks like I'm going to stay here forever now. And here is something everybody should be watching out for again, COVID. A lot of people have it. New flirt variant, full effect. Those unlucky enough to get it claim it's the worst bout yet. Unlike older variants where a new infection caused less problems than the initial infection, for many, flirt is causing more severe effects, not less. I talked to somebody on the phone today that had it. Headache, fever, congestion, throat on fire. If you've had it, you know what I'm talking about. So be careful, I should say, during summer travel. Overall risks remain relatively mild. But again, if you've got it, you know you got it. We've all seen the videos, plane full of people ready to take off, and somebody decides to act the fool. Maybe they're intoxicated, maybe they just feel disrespected and decide to act like a child in retaliation. Now the air marshal shows up, the police are called, the unruly passenger problem forces all on board to deplane. FAA says unruly passengers continue to be a major issue for airlines and their passengers. All right, Stephanie, you ever experienced an unruly passenger problem?
I have not. I've been on a plane with a bomb scare. I've been on a plane with somebody getting sick, but I have not seen somebody be unruly on a plane yet.
Jimmy, how about you?
Never, and I've flown a lot in my life, and I've logged many miles, Fred. I have never, ever, thank goodness, had an unruly passenger anywhere near me.
I'll tell you what, I've flown a lot too. You both are very lucky because I have seen passengers like that on a plane. And you know, the problem is if somebody's acting up, if somebody's a little out of control, what do? They land the plane. They land the plane. They go back to the gate. So you've affected everybody on the flight. Do you think passengers affected by unruly flyers should be able to sue them for damages, Jimmy?
Oh gosh, I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know how that just gets multiplied by passengers, et cetera. But I do think people it's the alcohol, the drugs, the medication. They go into the lounges. They got a 2-hour layover. They're trying to numb themselves. They get nervous when they fly. They're on no sleep and exhaustion anyway. So their time zones, you don't know how much people have been traveling. And they reach a tipping point and they wig out for whatever reason. And once again, Stephanie and I are lucky and you've witnessed it. So it's the odds game, I guess.
What do you think, Stephanie? Should they be able to sue for damages?
I don't think so, unless there's violence involved, if somebody gets hurt, if they break something or steal something, then, but just inconvenience, I don't think so. And I would hope that the airlines would do something to kind of make up for it. I'm not sure. Why don't you tell me? Do the airlines do anything if that happens?
No, the airlines don't do anything, period. What do the airlines do? Right? You're late, they don't do anything. You miss your flight, they don't do anything. I'll tell you, and you're held hostage, really. You're held hostage because there's nothing you can do. But Jimmy said something that was interesting. People drink, they get on a flight. I can't drink on flights. Maybe I can have a glass of wine, but you get so dehydrated when you're in the air that it really knocks you out when you land. I'm just not a drinker on flights.
I get on a plane, I'm a window guy, I get that pillow, I snuggle up, I'm asleep before we take off. So I don't need anything to chill me out. I turn the cell phone off, I'm a free man.
All right. We wanted to give a shout out to some local restaurants. Wine Spectator magazine, devoted to wine and its enthusiasts, gave out their 2024 restaurant awards. You want to know something? 8 Valley restaurants were awarded. That's pretty cool. Spencer's Restaurant, Zen American Bistro, Four Saints, La Quinta Cliff House Grill and Bar, Mitch's on El Paseo Prime Seafood, by the way. That's pretty good. Pacifica Seafood Restaurant, The Steakhouse, and Trio Restaurant were all given the prestigious Wine Spectator 2024 Restaurant Award, so congratulations to all of them. I had some record-breaking temperatures lately. Let's see if there's any relief with super weather.
Flames on the side of my face.
That's good. No, Thomas? That's good. That's good. All right, how does Paul, the people's weatherman, the plumber, how does that make people feel?
It's so hot. I'm sweating more than a glass of iced tea in July.
Come on now. Is that the best you can do? There's no accounting for taste. You ever seen Power Slab? Now, this is considered a sport. The objective, you slap somebody in the face as hard as you can and try to knock them out. Why people like this, I have no idea, but it's real. And if you choose to compete in it, you got to face it.
Going on one, and he's down. Oh, my God. Vicious strike. Oh, my God. Whoa. And out. That's a knockout. Stop one. It is a big distraction. 2.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. All right, during the golden age of the drive-in cinema, moviegoers were exposed to some shocking and unimaginable horrors, none of which could compare to the fate which befell a director in those movies in Indio back in 1995. Our story begins once upon a time in Indio when a small film crew came to make a movie. The film was Satan's Sadists. The crew was led by director Al Adamson. Some of Al's crew members included West Side Story star Russ Tamblyn and the woman that would become the love of Al's life, Regina Carroll. Al fell in love with our scenic desert, and after marrying Regina, the couple decided to make Indio their home. Al and Regina lived a happy, quiet life in Indio until 1992, when Regina was taken by cancer. Around June of '95, Al Adamson would mysteriously disappear. Foul play was suspected, and the police began to show interest in a man named Fred Fulford. Fulford was an independent contractor whom Al had hired when he decided to make modifications to his home. Al trusted Fred. Fred immediately took advantage of that trust. Fulford was given a credit card to purchase supplies. He overspent and abused the account. During one of his last known conversations, Al had become aware of what Fred was doing and was going to confront him about it. After Al's disappearance, Fred Fulford seized control of Al's property. He changed the locks. He fired the housekeeper. He began to make unauthorized modifications to the property, including removing Al's beloved indoor jacuzzi, then replacing it with the floor of concrete and tile. 5 weeks after the missing persons report was filed, Indio police showed up at the Adamson residence armed with a search warrant. They focused their attention on the tiled floor where the jacuzzi used to be. Several feet below the concrete, they found a body. Al Adamson was dead. He had sustained what appeared to be several blows to the head from a circular-type object similar to a hammer. The coroner's report stated the cause of death to be blunt force trauma. Fulford arrested in St. Petersburg, Florida, a location in which Fulford had shipped several of Al's vehicles. Fred Fulford was charged and convicted of the murder of Al Adamson and sentenced to 25 years in prison. And we're back with something indisputable after this.
Did you know William McKinley was shot right after giving away his good luck charm? President McKinley always wore a red carnation for good luck, but sometimes gave it out as a memento. When greeting the crowd in 1901, he handed the 12-year-old girl, Myrtle, the bloom of his lapel, saying, "I must give this flower to another little flower." Minutes later, he was fatally shot by a man in the crowd. Russ.
Look closely at the screen. It's not a mirage, it's a show.
Tell Fred what you think about it. Find Fred on Facebook and Instagram at Fred Roggin or email thedesertdean@gmail.com.
As always, appreciate you being part of the program. Number of comments tonight, we'll get them on tomorrow, but somebody suggested, hey, you know, you post these things in Good Neighbor that people are asking about. Well, how do we respond to them? It's pretty simple. If you see something, you want to respond to it, you send us the email, you know how to do it, you know the address, and then Kevin, our producer, gets you in touch with the people that were in Good Neighbor. Pretty simple. We handle all the work. You know, we're like a one-stop shop. We're like a Time Life operator. We work 24/7. And so does NBC Palm Springs. Go to the website. Click on the Roggin Report icon. It will take you to our show page. Everything in tonight's show will be up there. Appreciate you watching. Stay hydrated. Wheel of Fortune is next.